This is the new Carlisle Hotel in James Street in Brisbane's Fortitude Valley. This modern, stylish hotel is home to Hellenica, the acclaimed Greek restaurant owned by Simon Gloftis. Simon has recently opened another new restaurant at the back of the Carlisle, SK Steak and Oyster. SK is a spacious and grand venue with high ceilings, pillars, booth seating, a grand piano, a large cocktail bar, an open kitchen with an oyster shucking station and a large display glass meat fridge. Together with Simon and his business partner Theo Campolis, head chef Kelvin Andrews will be working with farmers and suppliers to source the best quality meat and seafood that Australia has to offer. Simon is originally from Melbourne and began his career washing dishes in cafes. Drawing on his Greek heritage, he opened Hellenica at Nobby's Beach on the Gold Coast in 2010 and 2 years later opened the Fish House in Burleigh Heads. More recently, he opened 19 at the Star Casino and the new Hellenica in Brisbane just over 12 months ago. SK Steak and Oyster is his latest venture. Simon, welcome to G&M.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Brisbane has a few good steakhouses, and given the rising cost of meat and the trends toward veganism, why a steakhouse?
Well, it's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's actually not so much a steakhouse as such, rather a culmination of all my favourite dishes from my restaurants and things that I've enjoyed over the years on a menu. And I've called it SK Steak and Oyster to understand that we do have those beautiful cuts of beef there, but the oyster element in the name represents, it's your favourite things on the menu. So a prawn cocktail, a beautiful lobster cocktail we do, a lot of seafood platters. I think probably about 70% of the menu is actually seafood, and then there's those beautiful steaks.
As you say, you've been planning it for many years. Yeah. Did your vision of what it was going to be change over time?
Yeah, absolutely. My end goal is always the same. I have a very clear vision. I know what I want to do, but the little intricacies of dishes and the format of the room and things they do change. And to be honest with you, if you didn't be a little bit fluid with those things, you'd be in a bit of trouble. You do have to manoeuvre. You do.
Obviously, you had to wait for the right space, and this is the right space. What's your general philosophy on food and cooking, though?
So my general philosophy from day dot has been buy the best available produce.
Yep.
Not as a cliche, buy the best available produce and then don't mess with it too much. So in the early days at the Fish House and Hellenica, and I had a few people actually say to me, "Oh, the food's quite simple. It's just fish on a plate." And I said, "Perfect. It's exactly what I want to do. Thank you for the compliment." So we fly our fish in every single day. We buy the best beef. We age it, ethically farmed, sourced. We do all the little things so that hopefully when the customer sits down, they don't need to know that, but they know that on the plate is the best available that they can get anywhere in the country right now. And that's my food philosophy. And it won't waver from that ever, and it hasn't. And if it does ever go from there, I'll get out of the business because it's not for me.
You've enjoyed huge success with the restaurants you've had. Both Hellenicas were almost overnight successes. The Fish House became popular with a lot of celebrities, including people like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kate Blanchett and Johnny Depp. What would you think your secret of your success is?
I appreciate you saying that, but I look, there's no shortcuts these days, and there is no secret. I sort of wish there was, because I'd hold on to that, but I do my homework and I do it properly. If the site doesn't suit the restaurant, or I don't have the staffing at the time, or I'm not ready, I've knocked back so many venues I can't even tell you because I'm not ready. And things happen, and I bring my customers along for a ride. I started in cafes and then went into restaurants, and I've had customers follow me all the way through for 20 years. So we sort of grow together, and I think you need to understand timing is critical. And all the elements. I mean, this day and age, it's almost impossible to make money out of restaurants anyway. So you need the lease to be right. You need the fit out to be right. You need the idea, the produce, the staff have to buy in. So there's a lot of elements, and I just say that I like to do my homework. I try and do things properly, and I hope that the customers can see a genuine care there. And when you do make a mistake, because we make mistakes every day, it's just a matter of fixing them. So when we do make mistakes, we try and get them solved quickly, and the customer at least goes, "You know what? They did the right thing. They tried. I can understand what they're doing." And so I try and be genuine with the customers. I don't lie. I don't cheat. and no shortcuts. And I hope that has held me in good stead, and I hope that keeps going.
You've entertained a lot of colourful guests over the years. Are there any of your favourites, or any that you made the most impression on you?
I love the restaurant business, because literally in one night you can have a football player next to a A-list American celebrity, next to the local gangster, next to the Queen's Counsel, and literally they're all in the room enjoying dinner, and I love that. I actually that's what I believe makes a restaurant and gives it depth over, and then gives it longevity, because it builds character into the environment. But yeah, we've had some colourful characters, that's for sure, over the years. But we enjoy it.
What made you sell the successful Gold Coast ventures and move to Brisbane?
So I got out of I sold the Fish House down in Burleigh to open up actually at the Star Casino, 19th Star. I went into there, and it was then that I realised that my direction had slightly changed. I left my contract there with Star, and I also not long after decided that Hellenica, it might be time to on the Gold Coast. It was the 10 most amazing years of my life, and anyone who knows Hellenica, the Gold Coast, understands the magic that place had in the walls, and I mean, for example, 10 of my staff from Hellenica went and opened up other venues on the Gold Coast. Wow. It was sort of that restaurant, and it was really special to me. So spending a lot more time in Brisbane opening up these venues, not being able to give 100% concentration to the one restaurant that's made my whole career, I just thought it was time. And to be perfectly honest with you, to sell that restaurant and to be able to take my name off the building as part of the deal, that was what sold it to me in the end, because I thought I can't have someone else owning the name Hellenica. That's mine. Yeah.
Running a stable of award-winning restaurants takes a lot of time. How do you relax?
Yeah, I do find it hard to relax, I'll be honest. But what I've sort of do now is, I don't know if it's great for my health or not, but I sort of work until I can't work anymore, and then I go away. And I like to travel, and I like to eat. So I might go off to LA or Hong Kong or whatever it is, 4 or 5 days, a week, 2 weeks. I could be by myself, or I could be with friends, and I just go and check into a nice hotel and eat at some beautiful restaurants, and that's how I relax. I really enjoy it.
Get some new ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, sometimes I purposely go to Hong Kong or Singapore or whatever and eat at Chinese restaurants, because I know I'm never going to open up a Chinese restaurant, so I don't have to stress. I can just sit there and enjoy my my Peking duck or whatever it may be. So.
And what do you think the biggest issue facing the industry is today?
Oh, there's our industry's, we sort of get pecked at from every angle. It's tough. The rising cost of everything. There's no free kicks anymore. I mean, to give you an example, even with food costs, I used to buy lamb shoulder at $4 a kilo. It's now $16 to $20 a kilo. So you can't. There's no. Lamb shoulder used to be the unused meat. Now it's premium. Pork in Australia is going through the roof. It's premium. There's no vegetables. The price of vegetables, I think people would have a meltdown if they realised how much vegetables cost. So there's no shortcuts. There's no free kicks, and I think the rising costs of everything across the board, from wages to rents to all those little extra costs that you don't even think about. That's a big issue.
You seem to have a lot of staff. For what isn't a huge restaurant. It's a big restaurant, but it's not huge. The staff are obviously very important.
So staff, in my opinion, are the whole ball game. So I never ever take that for granted. I staff up way too high. Always have. In fact, it's been a criticism of mine from my accountant that I put too many staff on. But I like to create a space that always, when you're walking there, you always feel like you're walking in somewhere. And I mean, sometimes I'll have 40, 50 staff on at once walking around. That movement, I like that. Creates a bit of that activity. I do have a lot of staff on. I really believe that if you can get the staff buying into your idea, you're 95% there. And I never take them for granted. They are literally my whole business. So. Yeah, you could not open up a restaurant if the staff weren't on your team.
Really important. And where do you see the Brisbane restaurant scene going?
Oh, it's the best. Right now, the Brisbane restaurant scene is, again, it's that old cliche of Brisbane's best days are ahead of it. but it's so true. It's absolutely true, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. I'm really excited to be a part of that movement because you can feel the energy, and people in the industry, we understand, we know it. You know, the interstate interest is coming now from chefs and whatever, and it's the perfect time to be in hospitality in Brisbane. Perfect.
Well, you've got two of the most successful restaurants so far in Brisbane. That's really good. Thank you, Simon. Really appreciate your time today, and we wish you continuous success.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.